community, learning, discussion, respect, integrity, truth, science, and discovery. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello, and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and welcome to tonight's show. I believe this is episode 25, and we are discussing ghost traps. So, the poll was very close. We were voting on pets used on investigations, excuse me, and ghost traps. And ghost traps barely won by like 1 or 2 votes. So it looks like we're going to be talking about pets pretty soon. But thanks for joining me, everyone. It's always exciting to do this show and talk to you guys about things that we ask questions about and research in the paranormal. Before we get the show on the road, we're going to go over here and talk to the girls. What's up, Jessica and Missy?
Hi.
We did it again.
So
Go
what's
ahead.
up?
Not a whole lot. Having little technical difficulties, but I think we got it straightened out.
Awesome. And running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
And one wing.
But you're ready now, right?
I am.
Awesome. How about you, Missy?
Pretty good. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, so I'm a little tired, but yeah, I'm good.
I would have to say you are tired if you've been up that long.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys are not familiar with this show and how it works, I will refer to Jessica and Missy. They both are monitoring the comments on YouTube and Facebook. You're seeing the comments come in from both those platforms. Periodically through the show, I will go to Missy and Jessica, and they will read off everybody's name and shout them out who has commented to let you guys know that you're part of this live stream. And we will read some of the comments, the good comments, and especially the questions. We want questions on the show. It helps me interact with you guys, so that's what I really want to do. So let's do that. Let me hear some comments, what you think about ghost traps, what you think about the things I say, because feedback is probably the most essential, important part of the show. All right. So we're going to talk about 2 types of things that can trap ghosts. The first thing is the claim that ghosts can be trapped on the earth, or trapped in limbo, or trapped in some kind of middle dimension between earth and the spirit realm. Okay? We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about devices and tools that are used to trap ghosts. Okay, so I think both those 2 are interesting to talk about. And if you have any other twist or angle to talk about that I have not got to on the show, by all means put it in the comments and we will check it out. So the first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the actual traps. If you have ever heard of the Jewish folklorish thing to do with mirrors, that's the first thing that I think is the most popular. It started as a Jewish tradition. I think there's something that may predate the Jewish belief on the mirror thing. If you know of it, please let me know. But the research I've done suggests that during the 7-day mourning period, once someone has passed in the Jewish religion, they cover the mirrors. And the reason they believe that is they believe that the mirrors trap the spirits of the dead. And in some cases, you will see people using mirrors in the room when someone has passed to trap them and carry them with them, like, you know, they're like carrying their spirit around in a mirror, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, but that is a thing. But mirrors have been this thing with, you know, enthusiasts, paranormal enthusiasts, ghost hunters, and everything, that spirits have something to do with trapping the dead, the spirits of the dead. It's mirrors being a bridge or a portal into some type of spirit realm or otherworldly dimension. Okay, and real quick, I'll talk about the use of mirrors in scrying and communicating with the dead. Okay, so people like Nostradamus looked into mirrors. People would use mirrors to speak to the dead, to channel, channel the voices and the thoughts from the spirits. So it makes sense, if that is true, to use mirrors to trap them. Now, the most famous thing, the device I can think of, is the Devil's Toy Box, which is a box that's lined with the inside with nothing but mirrors. And if somehow you can lure a spirit into the box, close the lid on it, and it'll trap the spirit, and you can take it wherever else you want, and you can dispose of it. One of the very funniest things I've seen on television and paranormal pulp culture is the pilot episode of Ghost Asylum, which was called Ghostland, I think, something Ghostland, where the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, they use a Devil's Toy Box, they trap a spirit allegedly from a home in the Devil's Toy Box, they take it out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and they blow it up. And I don't see how anybody can take that seriously, but a lot of people believe that they can trap entities in things called Devil's Toy Boxes. Okay, there's two sides of this. There's belief, and then there's actual physics. Okay, the belief in mirrors doing such things has no basis in actual scientific paranormal research at all. It's just based on folklore, stories, myths, and belief. Okay, there is no actual physical evidence that mirrors do this. Okay, that's what I think, and that's what a lot of people think that I've talked to. Now, when you're dealing with other beliefs, I think there's a Scottish belief of a little ghost trap, or they call it a spirit trap, and it's like these two sticks with string wound around them. If you can Google these, like a Scottish ghost trap, and they're used to trap ghosts, kind of like a dream catcher traps dreams. And there's actual spirit bottles, and they're usually blue bottles that are used to trap spirits in. You slap a cork in it, and you can get rid of it. Another interesting thing that I've seen that comes from the Catholicism is a burial or box burial, and we'll go over that real quick. If you've ever heard of this, using a little cigar box or a tin box, and you fill it with consecrated soil, like you take soil from a cemetery that's been consecrated, and you put it in the box, and you leave the lid off of it, and you kind of slide it under a bed or put it in a corner where there's spirit activity. You leave it open overnight, and in the morning you slap the lid on it, you take it out of your house, and you take it to the cemetery and bury it there. That will release the spirit activity from your home. I thought that was interesting. And a pagan belief is to actually put a candle inside of a jar and lure the spirit into the jar using the candle and covering it and taking it out of the home or location. So those are kind of crude and simple traps that a lot of people's used over the years. But when you get sciencey and you get into the realm of, Ghostbuster-ish type stuff, because of course everybody's familiar with the movie, but that has a lot more credibility. And we'll talk about that roughly, real quick. Now, if spirits are made up of charged particles or force-carrying particles that have anything to do with charge, they will have magnetic fields, corresponding magnetic fields. So in theory, you can create a containment field of magnetic fields to trap these charged particles. How you would get this spirit or entity in there, I don't know. But in theory, if they are made of such things, you can contain them, because there's a lot of things that we use with practical real-life applications that, contain plasma, contain high-energy charged particles all the time. And That's actually a heck of a lot more feasible, in my opinion, if we knew what spirits and ghosts are made of. This is all theory. No one knows. People can claim to be experts and professionals at this, but there is no irrefutable proof of ghost spirits, and especially what they're made up of and how they trap their energy using physics and science principles. So there you have it. Okay. The other side of this is, okay, if you don't believe spirits can be trapped, but you believe that they can be trapped naturally, that's kind of an oxymoron. Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about that. A lot of people believe that spirits can't be trapped, they move on, and that the spirits that we're dealing with are psychokinetic manifestations, either from the mind or from other dimensional things occurring from the past, for example. So if that's true, you can trap psychokinetic energy naturally. Let's say just going, saturating a location over and over and over with a certain type of psychokinetic energy, it therefore becomes imprinted, and you could say it's trapped there. It's all semantics, really. But if you believe in actual spirit energy being trapped in a location for reasons such as they have unfinished business, or they're attracted to the energy of location, or their memories lead them to be trapped, or haunting a location. It's all really semantics, but I've heard the term trapped spirits a lot, and I've caught myself asking spirits, trying to get responses saying, "Are you trapped?" Because that is a widespread belief. So if spirits or psychokinetic manifestations or energy can be quote unquote trapped in locations, then with that logic in place, you would have to think that you can trap them manually, using traps or using some type of method to do so. What that would be, I don't know. That's up for grabs, and hopefully we can talk about that tonight. So there you have it. There's a quick rundown of ghost traps. Of course, there should be a hell of a lot other tools and beliefs out there, but we'll get to those. Any shout outs on YouTube and Facebook? I'm sure there is. Let's start off with those.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I got Derek Schreiner, I've got Josh Bender, I've got Matt Benton, I've got Landon Wells, I've got Bill Davis, I've got Chieflin Paranormal, I've got Christy Brown. Who else do I have? I think that's it for right now. That's all the shout outs anyway. I do have a couple questions.
Well, there's Chieflin Paranormal Investigations.
Yeah, Chieflin, I said that.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Maybe you did.
Chieflin Paranormal wants to know, do other spirits trap spirits?
That's a good question. Because that's a lot of people believe that, like some nefarious entities or dark entities. My own mother has told me that they can trap other entities, spirits. If you watch the movie Poltergeist, that's definitely an example of a scenario where one spirit traps another spirit. And I believe it's possible, yes. Do I know it's possible? No, of course not.
Liz Noble Coy just jumped on.
What's up, Liz?
Christy asked, ever heard of aliens trapping spirits? Just a thought.
Yes. Yep, you're starting to get into Scientology stuff there. So if you want to read up on Scientology, that has a lot going on with that.
And Matt Benton said, who are the best ghost trappers? Ghostbusters or Tennessee Ray Chasers? I would say Ghostbusters because they actually caught some in the movie. LOL.
Well, both are fiction, Matt. I think Ghostbusters had more production value than Tennessee Wraith Chasers. They didn't get their materials from Lowe's. Ghostbusters actually had an electrical engineer and a physical engineer. Eon was a smart dude, so he had much more resources and know-how than the Ghost Asylum crew did. I vote Ghostbusters.
Okay, then my question is, well, the first time that y'all started talking about the cloud chamber, I thought that that's what it was.
No, no, no.
Was a trap.
No. The cloud chamber is based off a theory that if spirits, ghosts, entities, whatever you want to call them, contained ionizing radiation, subatomic particles that ionizes the gas molecules, okay? Kind of like the ionizing radiation from the sun and other sources. What that happens is it makes molecules clump together. It ionizes them. It's kind of, you ever heard of an ionizing air filter? That's what it does. It ionizes the dust, makes it clump together, makes them heavy and fall out of the air.
Well, I know what it does. But...
Okay, that's what the cloud chamber does. In theory, it'll make the alcohol vapor that's condensing clump together so you can see what's there. That's what that does.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Who's over there on YouTube?
Okay, everybody just bear with me. This is a completely different setup than what I'm used to doing. But we have Sam, Small Town Investigations, Paranormal World Investigators. Small Town. I'm scrolling, I'm sorry. Vale, Spirit Stalker.
Nice name.
West.
Dwayne West, what's up, buddy?
And that looks about it. But like I said, if I miss somebody, I apologize.
You did mention Paranormal World Investigators?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Sherry.
Okay, you should have everybody that I'm seeing.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. If you would like to be shouted out, just give us an emoji. If you don't want to chat, that's fine. Just give us like some type of symbol or say hi and we'll shout you out if you want. But if not, you can sit back and listen. Do we have any questions?
Looking, I'm sorry. I'm used to just my phone going up and down and
Hashtag mouse.
hashtag it's not connected. It's not recognizing it, and I have too many computer issues as it is. I don't need to try something else.
Okay. Well, you'll have it ready for next time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my other computer will be up and running. I don't see anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any question. Wait a minute. There's a question. Can it be dangerous to use a mirror? Paranormal World Investigators asked that 11 minutes into the show. If you believe that mirrors do things like I talked about at the beginning of the show, I mean, how dangerous does the paranormal get? If you've had dangerous paranormal phenomena occur, then using a mirror could, in theory, be dangerous. I have not seen any evidence of any danger using a mirror. It's mostly all psychological. Mostly everything that deals with the paranormal is psychological. There are rare occurrences of physical manifestations or physical things happening, things being moved around, scratches, bruising, stuff like that. But let's face it, that's super duper rare and hard to validate. So I would say definitely experiment with mirrors. If you want to play around with them, I think you'll be fine.
Somebody commented, and I don't want to mess the name up. Old mirrors with real silver backing.
What about them? Are they more effective?
I'm not sure. I think Wes, W-E-I-S-S.
Dwayne?
What is it?
Dwayne West?
No.
Oh.
Weiss. Let's do Weiss. It's probably Weiss. I'm horrible with names, y'all.
Yeah, is that Eric? Eric Weiss? I see your dilemma there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of old mirrors with silver backing being more effective. I can see why people would believe that. Okay. Vale, I've had one clearly viewed paranormal entity in my life after having a rather scary sleep paralysis in which it and I carried on a conversation. There was a small figure by my bed. That's a very common occurrence when you're dealing with that. Um, Geometric shapes. Any idea if that was a bad entity or was I just tripping? A lot. I've heard people report to me that they see geometrical shapes, like manifestations of geometrical shapes. Um, that's interesting. Um, I don't want to just completely discredit that as something, like a hallucination, but it could be paranormal. It could be not. So have it investigated. That would be my advice to you.
Sam said the silver's for protection.
Okay. Usually, silver can be used to draw out and purify too.
Okay. I think that's
Okay.
it. I apologize again.
It's all right. Missy, were you saying something?
I have one more question. Sam Wings, I read on the comments, said she had a black mirror, but she hasn't used it yet. What is the difference between a regular mirror and a black mirror?
Okay. A black mirror is the main difference from my point of view is it doesn't show you a clear image of your reflection. So you can kind of like, the theory is you can see things almost manifest out of them, kind of like you would stare at a video loop or static on a TV. Like you will make something out of the shadowy images that you see within the black mirror. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not just staring at your reflection, you're removing that stimuli altogether and you're focusing on other elements of reflective properties. And it
Gotcha.
distorts and skews what you're actually, the light it's reflecting.
Gotcha. That's all I have for right now.
Okay. Keep those comments coming. Pretty good ones, actually. I'm sure there will be more periodically. So, ghost traps. Does Justin think that ghosts can be trapped? I think if spirits can be trapped, meaning that they cannot cross over or go into the realm or state in which they are supposed to be in, then yes, they can be trapped. Can physics trap ghosts? Well, if things like spirits and ghosts are comprised of charged particles or something that physics that aligns and intersects with some type of physical properties, yes, theoretically they can. But are they comprised of these things that we think they are? We do not know. We have no idea they are. No one has irrefutable proof that they've trapped things like spirits and ghosts. I've looked online for people who claim that they have, and it's pretty laughable. I've been researching for 5 years. That's not very long, but all the stuff that I see published online is horseshit. Unfortunately, there's nothing passable or plausible at all that I've seen. But I'm very open to seeing something that's credible, plausible, something out there. There's a lot of people with a lot of beliefs and things, and I think that in itself has power. If you believe in something, it has power. So the placebo effect is strong. If you believe a particular method in folklore or some type of superstitious thing can trap a spirit or banish it from your home, just the belief in that can be powerful enough to make it happen. Okay? Especially if it's a psychokinetic imprint or manifestation, which is not a spirit. It's not a dead person's soul, and it's not an entity, an inhuman entity. Okay? We're talking about things that are not aspects or essences of what's left over when we die. We're talking about things derived from our consciousness, and that goes into a realm of parapsychology. Okay, so there's a lot of debate and a lot of theories out there, but I just want to make that clear that if you believe in something working, that holds incredible power in a lot of scenarios and instances. Beliefs in these things have definitely caused a lot of ripples and had impact in our culture, and has certainly done so in the instances of cleansing and spiritual exorcisms and stuff like that. Okay. Um, I have spoken to other people who study demonology, Matt Benton, for example, and a few others that believe that just just the belief in faith, the power in that itself is something that drives out these types of energies, whether it's psychological, a placebo effect, or something actually physical or metaphysical happening. Okay, so all the things that we use, the tools, the rituals, all the implements, they're just, that's what they are. They're just tools. It's the intent and the belief that fuels and empowers you to have an effect on these things. Um, so I think that, is true in magic, practical, applied magic, not, the hocus, the sleight of hand or mentalist type magic things that you see on TV and at shows. But I think that has, the mental power of things in theology, in magic, and in the paranormal field, especially parapsychology. That's what we deal with a lot. Okay, hauntings, I think it's rare in my case, in my experience, that you deal with an actual entity that's not a psychokinetic manifestation or an imprint or what a lot of paranormal researchers like to call residual entities. Okay, those things you should not be able to have too much effect on. But with that being said, I've had people come to me, my mother included, saying that they have interacted and have an impact on those type of energies, playing with ghost children in homes as they grow up, stuff like that. A lot of children, I believe, are imprints and energies and not the actual souls and spirits of these things. So if that can be left behind and imprinted in the environment, and it's all semantics, I believe. You could say trapped, you can say stuck, you can say contained within. You say whatever. It's all about what you believe and how you want to word it. But a lot of these ghost hunting shows, like Tennessee Race Chasers, I think are the most guilty culprits in their early on episodes. Is they try to come up with all these gimmicky things in their shows to lure ghosts into these devices, trap them, and take them off of locations. I mean, that's just absolute horse crap in my opinion. There's no credibility to it, no plausibility to it. It's based on theory that they never, ever, ever try to validate and use actual science to prove. It's just, we're not educated enough to do that type of stuff. We don't have enough money. We don't have the resources to do that kind of stuff. That's just the truth of it. But what really interests me is the occult aspect of the paranormal when it comes to cleansings, banishings, that type of stuff. Controlling energies, controlling entities like demonology, for example, King Solomon, and all that history and legend behind King Solomon. He was, controlling these types of entities. He can trap them. He can banish them. Necromancers did things with, spirits and dead people. So that aspect is very, very interesting to me, and I've always had an interest in that type of occult activity, occult phenomena. So I would like to know if you guys, maybe not yourselves, have dealt with the occult when it comes to trapping spirits or banishing or cleansing. Have you had any experiences? Because I have one, and I'll save it. But we'll go back to the comments and questions, see if there's anything going on there real quick.
You want me to go first?
No, never.
Okay.
Yes.
Christy said, I think that the spirit chooses to cross over or not. Just my thoughts.
I think that's very possible.
Chief Lynn Paranormal said, he said Super Dick.
Super
Dick. You said it.
I said super dick?
Yes.
When did I say that?
You were talking about something and you said it. Derek confirmed it.
Oh,
He's sitting right behind me.
okay. Sorry.
Um,
That's pretty funny, actually.
Christy said, maybe it's the spirit's loved ones that allow the spirit to cross over or not.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
She said, maybe it's the spirit's loved ones that allow the spirit to cross over or not.
Living or deceased, maybe.
Maybe. Oh, my Lord. Now they're talking about Matt being married and Bill's marriages, and we just don't want to go into that one right now.
Okay.
Okay. Bail asks, what is your thoughts on interaction of hallucinogens and like DMTs and paranormal entities?
Okay, what was the first part of that question?
What are your thoughts on the interaction?
With entities concerning DMT?
Yes.
Okay, my knowledge of DMT is that it is a chemical released in the pineal gland upon death. Okay, and the only research that corresponds to this has been done in rats and mice. But it's a natural molecule that's released in the brain that has psychotropic effects, and it's believed that this is how people view the spirit world through their third eye. This is the molecule that brings about the near-death experience, the self-evaluation, life flashing before your eyes phenomena, and will allow you to peer into the spirit realm. A lot of people, use drugs to do this, to elicit these type of psychotropic effects. But I believe that there could be something interesting going on there with DMT in the spirit realm. So that's another show.
Okay, Bail asked, any direction I could look into in terms of research as to what type of entity I might be dealing with. Also, had the presence follow me ever since I get that sense that something is feeling.
Okay. You're gonna have to read.
Sure. Any direction I could look into terms of research as to what type of entity I may have been dealing with. Also, had a presence follow me ever since, and I get that sense that something is feeling.
Filling or feeling?
It says feeling, but probably it could be, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I can help you. I can help you if you ask me a specific question and what you're dealing with. I just need to know more details.
It said, also said, hard to explain, like feeling depth of something being there.
Right, like you feel a presence. Whose question was that?
Fail?
Okay, I want to go back and see if I can read it myself. See if I can help me
Sure.
understand it.
It was, I think after they were talking about the mirrors.
Okay. Veil. Where is your question? Wow, it must be back there pretty far. I'm not seeing it at all. Okay, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Okay. Any direction I could look into the terms research as to what type of entity I may be dealing with? Yeah, you have a paranormal research team, or you do your own research, which is possible. I may have been dealing with. Also had a presence following me ever since, and I get the sense that something is filling. Yeah, that's strange. That the same shape around me. Yeah, the feeling and presence of something being there is common. A lot of times you feel like you're being stared at. A lot of times you feel like there's someone there, but you just can't see them. So yeah, if you want to message me, and I'll get to you, and I'll kind of help answer your questions. I'll ask you, what's going on in a little bit more detail, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. But I need to know a heck of a lot more information to help you out.
And Sam wants to know, what about the dolls?
Spirits being trapped in dolls. That's a good question.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go on about that. I forgot to include that in my introduction because I thought about doing that. It's an old belief that comes from many cultures. I think can't remember where that started. I'm gonna have to do more research on that, but it's been a belief that dolls can be vessels for spirits. After a spirit passes, they can enter a doll and pretty much haunt it or give it sentience. There's a lot of people that believe that dolls can trap spirits. Stuff that deals with voodoo and magic and the occult kind of tell stories and believe that that's true. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a heck of a lot more research because it's been a long time since I've done any type of research on that. But absolutely, a lot of people believe that dolls can be haunted. Dolls creep people out for obvious reasons. They have faces and eyes, and that triggers a response in the brain. Like mannequins. Mannequins do it to me all the time. Like, I had Ralphie in the living room, and I set him up, and I put him all together, and I just walked out and started doing some chores, and I forgot about him. And when I came back in and I glanced, your brain will pick up on that as a person, but it's not a person. So there's a psychological mechanism that's occurring with dolls, mannequins, stuff like that, that you sense that something's not right. So you get you can, go on, and your imagination can definitely wreak havoc on you at that point. But I have not experienced anything personally with haunted dolls. I would love to get a hold of a doll that people believe is haunted, though, and experiment with it. Dybbuk boxes are another thing that we could talk about. They contain demons and nefarious entities, and they are trapped in a box. And that's another Jewish belief, is the Dybbuk box. And those are deeply interesting to me, too, because how in the hell does that work? Jewish has a lot of folklore and magic associated with it, and it's always fascinated me quite a bit. And I would like to know if anybody else has any knowledge or insight on Dybbuk boxes in chat. Missy, anything going on Facebook there? I've seen some stuff.
I don't know who said something about it, but Matt Benton said, trained by who? The only training I'm aware of is from the Vatican. So basically the church. They are not just demonologists, they are exorcists. A demonologist doesn't perform exorcisms. This isn't the movies. A demonology is the study of demons, which I have been doing for years.
And what's Derek saying, that you can only be a demonologist if you're trained by the Vatican?
I don't know. I didn't get the conversation beforehand. Beforehand, they were just cutting up and...
Oh, okay. Yeah, demonology is just the study of demons and understanding them and how to summon them, how to control them. King Solomon stuff and stuff like, that has a lot to do with Catholicism and necromancy and stuff like that.
Chief Lynn Paranormal said, I have a supposed doll head. I'm going to investigate it. And if it's not haunted, I'm going to blow it up in the Boom Boom box live on Facebook.
Like Tennessee Raid Chasers did. Do you remember that episode, Missy? Did
Yeah,
you watch that?
I remember.
Oh my God.
The episode of Ghost Adventures on Halloween night, he's supposed to open his Dybbuk box.
Yeah. So... that's interesting. Dybbuk boxes. I'm a very skeptical person. But then again, I've experienced things that make no fucking sense whatsoever when you try to rationalize it. So I can't just say Dybbuk boxes are horseshit. What I can tell you is that you have to be skeptical because there's yahoos out there that'll claim they have a Dybbuk box and try to sell it to you, or anybody can just say that something's haunted by something. You know, that's what paranormal investigators are for. Should,
Right.
you know, validate the claims by finding evidence of such things.
Right. But I ain't got nothing else.
All right.
Okay, can you let Vale know how to get a hold of you?
Yes, you can email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. You can just go to www.interfacedeath.net. It's linked on this YouTube channel, and contact me there. That would be the easiest thing. Or you can just email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. All the links for those contacts are in the description of this video. So all you have to do is go to the description, choose your poison, and go.
Okay. Now I have a question.
Yay.
A couple weeks ago, one of the guests that we've had on before, he posted up, and I'm sure you've seen it. And it was off of eBay. It had boxes. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that, Justin?
He's a fucking con artist.
Well, not the guest.
Oh. What do I think about Dybbuk boxes on eBay?
Well, yeah, they were being advertised as there were spirits in the boxes, you know, for $14.99 plus shipping. You know, have it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's hard to say. Purchasing such things is definitely risky. I would say with incredible claims, you need incredible evidence. So if you're going to sell a box that's supposed to be haunted, or a Dybbuk box or whatever, you're going to have to display or demonstrate what's going on with it to me before I would buy it.
Sure. Paranormal World investigators have said, I've been having strange things and things happening when I'm sleeping. I've recorded them, but one stream's still waiting for. I'm trying to. I'm trying to figure out what she's meaning. But do you think that has anything to do with the negative energies that she got rid of?
Okay, read the question again.
Okay, she's been having strange things happening to her while she's sleeping.
Right.
And wanted to know if that has anything to do with some of the negative energies that she has gotten rid of.
Well, if she's gotten rid of it, it shouldn't have anything to do with it. But if she hasn't got rid of it, then it could definitely be, have something to do with it. She
just wanted, other opinion on that. She has it, I guess, recorded.
What, like something visually or something auditory? What does she have recorded?
She said that I've recorded them, but one stream's still waiting. So I'm thinking she, it was being recorded when she was sleeping.
Okay. Yeah, that's really hard to know. Stuff that happens in your sleep, unless it's obvious, like your bed levitates, you're pulled out of your bed physically, you levitate off your bed, you have physical manifestations on your body, stuff like that. That's when you know something's going on. When you're being psychologically affected, it's hard to know if it's just you doing it to yourself. You might have a mental illness, or you might have something spiritual happening.
Sorry, I just read Vale's. He says, why would somebody want to buy a demon in a box? It's like going to the pounds and asking for a cat and forced to take a bath in a laundry machine. Sorry.
I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's a funny analogy.
Very funny.
Some people are dark and twisted. Some people are morbidly curious. Some people just want to do research. Some people want to have an experience, so they'll try to acquire such things to have a paranormal experience. They just want to know. Curiosity killed the cat, as they say. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Awesome. Are we clear on Facebook? Demons are free. They sell them on eBay. All right, well, let's just face it. You want to be objective. But you want to have ideas, but you want to be able to test these ideas. So that's what separates theory from experimental science. Okay? If you cannot find proof and use a method that validates it to a particular group of people, whether it be a scientific community, skeptical community, what have you, you just need to be objective all the time. Okay? But like I said before, faith and belief in things and give you power. It has power. So if you remove yourself from the belief in something, you could take away the power you have in doing something. Okay? So there's the conundrum. There is a conundrum there. When you do spiritual cleansings, you cannot be objective about it. You have to 100% believe that it has power, that it works, and that it's doing what you intend it to do, or it will not work. Just like the placebo effect, when pharmacologists and doctors do experiments on drugs, they introduce a sugar pill and to see if the placebo effect is a factor. Okay, if the statistics show that the drug is effective above what the placebo effect allows, then they mark the drug as effective. Okay, but the placebo effect is a real thing. It's not just your mind doing it to you. Okay, your mind is actually curing things and, removing pain and doing all these things that these medicines do. So if that's true, then the placebo effect translates over into the paranormal realm in all aspects of reality. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. It's very, very interesting. So all those things need to be taken in. You have to look at it objectively, but I think that when it comes to the paranormal, when it comes to the spirituality, the brain is wired to have these subjective beliefs and have, these coping mechanisms for things like death, facing their own mortality, facing the loss of loved ones, dealing with, very profound things. It's very rare, unless you're like a monk or something, that you can remove all attachment from these things. Okay, so a lot of Eastern philosophies and ways of life, that's their take on it. They want you to remove your attachment from these things, so you rewire the brain in a way that you do not need a higher power. You do not need superstition. You do not need these subjective beliefs and things. Okay? Is that cold-hearted? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on who you ask. Okay? But it will release you from suffering, because suffering has very much to do with how the brain is wired when it comes to religion, belief systems, and things that follow under that umbrella. Okay? So does that carry over into why ghosts haunt places? Maybe. Okay? Maybe if your consciousness does stay intact after you die, those things stay intact, those belief systems. So whatever your belief system may be, you may be able to not pass on, or you may be able to choose whether you pass on or not. Okay? We will not know this until we die. All right? But it's strange, and on one side of things, it's strange to believe that such things as demons can be trapped in boxes. But when you look at the occult and you look at other things that deal with demonology and other sorts of aspects of the occult, you can't help to wonder if there's something to that. So what I would suggest is you look into the research, you do all your homework, and maybe do everything aside from actually practicing the occult and witchcraft. Maybe that's something you want to do. There's a lot of people out there who's practicing witches, but I do know that there's power in those types of things. I've seen it, I've experienced it, so I cannot be closed off from such things. I can't be a hardcore skeptic. I know those things exist what they are and how it's possible, I don't know yet. But what I do believe is that the mind has a lot to do with the force behind it, is what makes it happen. The acting force is derived from the mind. And maybe, that is what ultimately can either hold you here or release you or trap things within objects or, containers, can banish you from places. It's all up here. So, something to consider. Any last statements from Facebook and YouTube that we want to address before we move on and close this show up?
We had a person joined,
Chris
new.
Sanders. Oh, that's Chris is on Facebook. Sorry.
Yeah. BPG 5012. He's new, joined.
What's up, man? Nice name. Nice name.
Yeah, that's about. I mean, they're just really talking amongst themselves.
I know there's talk about Dybbuk boxes on Facebook. See what they're talking about.
Daniel brought up the fact of buying a Dybbuk box on eBay. You never know what you're going to get.
You're going to get a box.
I said it's like anything else. You don't know what you're going to get. Matt said he would like the Dybbuk box to experiment with, and Chris said he would open the box, and they're just talking amongst themselves about it.
You have to be skeptical about a Dybbuk box on eBay, right?
Well, you have to be skeptical about anything on eBay.
Yes. Even more so, though, Missy. Like, to the 100th power, skeptical about that, right?
Right.
So you would have to understand the motive. Like, okay, if someone believed they had a legit Dybbuk box and they see value in it, they'll be like, oh, I know hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that want to get their hands on this. So they can just say, oh, haunted Dybbuk box, $100. There you go. Or they may way overprice it. They see value in it, but there's ethics involved. Maybe it can do harm. How do you know it's got something going on? If something bad happened to you, why would you sell to somebody knowing that something bad could happen to them? Do you not care? You just want money?
Right.
I mean, that's the things I think about when people go to sell stuff like that. Like, to me, if someone said, oh, I got a house, it's haunted by demons, you want to come check it out? I wouldn't say that. I would be like, oh, it's got demons, let's get rid of the demons. We'll purify the home, get rid of the bad stuff so the light can shine once again. That's the kind of person I am.
Right.
Unless, there's a small group or community, I believe, that, is capable enough to study such things. That's what the Catholic Church likes to do. Right. I mean, they had to figure out all that stuff somehow if all that stuff's real. So they have to experiment and play around with that stuff. So, think about that for a moment.
Well, that would be like me taking a doll head to Randolph County Infirmary and selling it on eBay the next day, like haunted doll head.
That's a really good idea. You should start a business. All these haunted locations we go to, you just take a doll head with you, you scoop up some air with it, and be like, now it's worth $100.
Right.
Depending on where you're at. Okay. I'll give you guys another minute. There's like a 30-second delay probably on this live stream. If you have any final questions for me or statements you would like to make on your belief on ghost traps or how ghosts can be trapped or imprisoned, now say you. Because if not, this is a wrap. And it's been an interesting show. Of course, you can go on and on and on about this subject matter. You can research, go down the rabbit hole of all the different beliefs and everything. But at the end of the day, all the people that claim that have Dybbuk boxes probably full of shit. And of course, there's rare occasions where, yeah, it's possible. But, the chances of it being real is very low, in my opinion. having, the old school superstitious folklorish trap things, that's based on belief. Okay. So kind of like the Ouija board thing, if the intent there and the belief is there, yeah, it's possible something can happen, but it's just a means to an end. It's not the actual trap itself that's trapping it. That's my take on such thing. Thanks for everyone for joining me. It's been a pleasure each and every week when I do this show. I try to do my best. I try not to bore you guys with just a bunch of boring information. I try to, loosen up a little bit, joke around a little bit, just be myself, and try to not only engage you guys, but establish friendships, establish some trust, and earn some respect with you guys, because I just want this paranormal community we have here to grow and provide a safe, comfortable place for us to interact, exchange information, learn from each other. That would be awesome. If you're new here, please subscribe. Okay, especially on YouTube. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. We do these live shows every week. We live stream our paranormal investigations. We release documentaries and video productions. We do a lot of stuff. So just having your subscription would be an awesome thing. So, girls, anything else that we need to address before I wrap it up?
Nope, I ain't got anything.
All right, thanks, Missy. Jessica?
Nope.
All right, thank you once again for helping me.
If you want to, Justin,
Mm-hmm.
if you explain tomorrow's show and where they can find it at as well for the new viewers that's on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. So, just like Jessica said, Tuesdays we do Paranormal Soapbox on Facebook and YouTube. Wednesdays we interview people in the paranormal field on a show called Necromancer. It's on YouTube, same channel if you're watching on YouTube. On Facebook, it's on the actual Necromancer Live Show Facebook page. The link will be in the description if you want to know where that is. And we're interviewing Dwayne West tomorrow on YouTube. He's a paranormal researcher, an ITC researcher from Muncie, Indiana. Very, very, very nice guy. He's got a very, very cool ITC device I want you guys to check out if you're into that sort of thing. So 8 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, check us out on Necromancer. So let's just say and end this video by saying you guys are always awesome. It's always a pleasure and a treat to talk to you guys about what we love in the paranormal. We're going to go on over to the Patreon. Now, you're going to notice that there's less names, and I'm going to explain why. The patrons should be been notified on Patreon and on the Facebook group that the $1 a month patrons are no longer going to be shouted out for one main reason. A lot of people is going to start doing the $1 thing, and this is going to be hard to fit everybody's name on the screen. It's already ridiculous. And putting them in the credits is going to be even harder in our video productions. So I'm going to leave it. If you want to be shouted out during this section and be a producer and shouted out in the credits of our videos, do the $5 tier a month. But please, do not be disheartened and mad that you are not on the screen if you're a $1 pledger a month. Your donation is still equally appreciated and very important. So there are changes on patreon.com. If you are interested in supporting us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/support interface death. You get rewards for whatever certain tiers that you can afford or are willing to pledge each month. And it's a very cool system to help, support the content creators on the internet. So if you want to see these live streams continue and get better, go to patreon.com, sign up. This content's not possible without people like Clay Borman, R.J. Murphy, Scotty Fox, Danette Goldtrip, and Jessica Bias. So thank you very much for your pledge each and every month. It's much appreciated. So there you have it, folks. If you want to help vote on the next topic for the show, go to Facebook, the Justin Brown blog page on Facebook. The link is in the description, I believe. If not, I messed up. But check me out on Facebook. Tomorrow I'll put up a poll. We'll choose between two topics to discuss next week. You guys have a good evening. I bid you farewell. You're in my heart. I love each and every one of you. You mean very, very much to me. You guys have a good night. Stick around for some video promotions. Check out Deadlight LLC on Facebook, and I'll see you next time.
What was that?
I don't know. I feel like I can't breathe in this room.
Generally, Justin, when you guys investigate, do you just take long pauses, wait to see if you hear things, observe everything that's going on?
It depends on the location and our experience with the location. So in this case, at Waverly Hills, since we've been here before, we've heard a lot of stories, done a lot of research, and investigated, we typically like to listen a lot because we hear the coughing, we heard it last time, so we didn't hear it again.